funky bass groove.
Welcome, listeners, to episode 10 of Conversations in Pencil, the Rough Draft. Because every life is a work in progress worth sharing. Hello, Taylor.
Oh, hello everybody. Can I just, I need to add it in to this intro. Can I just say that this guy right here forgot that I existed when we first started recording.
You may not know this, but sometimes we make mistakes and we delete them.
Yeah, we delete them. We don't
we
actually
redo
tell
them.
you. So I'm telling you so that he can be accountable for the fact that he missed his partner
Welcome
on the
to
pod show we do together.
Take Two on the podcast that we created, Taylor and I. Welcome, Taylor. Please be welcome. Please join me in the podcast on the Nathan Show, Conversations in Pencil. Now, today's episode 10, this is a special one for us. This is a milestone. This is 10 weeks of us showing up. 10 weeks of devastating honesty, crushing learning, some wonderful healing, a little rewiring.
And we're not teaching something new today. We're celebrating the gold from the journey so far. Okay, that didn't make sense in my brain. I'm sorry.
Moments that we've had in our episodes.
Now it makes sense. Cha-ching. The moments that have shifted us, the tools that have grounded us, and the truths that have kept returning again and again. This episode is for anyone who has been with us since episode 1, and for anyone joining us now who wants to know that Conversations in Pencil is really what it's all about.
What is it about? We're going to take you through the themes we've unpacked. This is a little flashback for all the peeps that have been with us. For all those that are just tuning in now, episode 10 is going to have some throwbacks for the past 9 episodes. It's a celebration episode. It's a look back at the things we've unpacked. How much do we really actually want to have some sound effects on some buttons available to us at the moment?
Hey, I think our sound effects are better.
I enjoy our sound effects. I can be your backpack while you rap. For those of you that know this song, welcome. You have found your people. Let me play you the song on my people. And of course, we're going to close with a tapping practice at the end. And we're going to have a look at these moments that we discussed over these past 9 episodes. This messy middle, the boundaries, the nervous system and attachment styles, self-trust and daily habits. What it means to rebuild without burning out. Let's look back and breathe forward and enjoy this exciting celebration. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. Party on. Let's go.
Let's go. So we'll go episode by episode. Our intention is, for this podcast, from the very beginning, the intention has remained steadfast. The decision to start was made not in a perfect moment for Taylor or myself, as we've discussed before. We were right in the middle of it. Everything was messy. We were healing. We had so much learning and rebuilding to do. This came out in episode 1. That we didn't wait until we were fixed. We started while we were still in the rubble. And I love this visual image, if you let that sink in for a moment. Taylor and I, on episode 10, turning up each week, here we are. We love to have you with us. We were in the rubble.
We still are.
And we still are. We're still feeling it. Some days we wake up in the rubble again. Some days we look around and it's a little cleaner than we remember. Some days we look around and we rebuilt something.
So why do you think we decided to do this when we did?
I believe there's a moment that I was discussing something with my friend that resonated very strongly with me. And that was how very encouraging it is for others to see you in the same situation they are currently experiencing. And to take steps and make decisions and create the life that they want. And some people will travel along with you. Some people will get ahead of you as they watch. Some people will just watch. But that is the beauty of sharing what's happening with you. It connects you to people and it becomes a pillar of support that you can lean on for more knowledge, to test your belief systems, to realize that you're not alone. And that very thought is helping me now, even knowing that there are people listening that are having moments where they go, I feel lost or alone, or I don't know if anyone else is going through this at the moment. Yes, you're not alone. Yes, we're experiencing it. And I love that I am able to picture our audience out there right now, finding some nuggets, finding some gold, finding things that may assist or just ease the burden even for a time.
Yeah, which is, I think, is the same thing that's why I started to do this with you. It hasn't been easy showing up every week. I fight it. And that's got nothing to do with you guys listening. It's just I fight it because it's like, another thing I have to do every week. And then once we start doing it and we get in the rhythm of it, it's so worth it, because then once it's out there, you can see the growth and the understanding and the people reaching out, the people talking to us, saying how it's helped them in certain ways. It's reached all different parts of the web that we have. So it's teaching me to show up. Yeah, it's teaching me to just consistently show up every week, and that's quite grounding and healing, because, I mean, Nathan and I haven't been showing up for ourselves for a very long time. So to be able to show up in this atmosphere and platform has been really healing, and doing each week has been healing as well, because we're talking about real things that are happening to both of us that other people have or are also experiencing as well. So it's been healing in quite a tremendous amount of ways for both of us on that.
Yeah, even last night, this brings it to mind as you were talking, that someone who is one of our friends listens to our episodes, and currently they're in a position where they can't actually listen. They're just experiencing some grief, so they've just paused it for a minute because they're taking the time necessary to just grieve and be in it and be like, yes, I need a moment. That is an amazing step for a person that you see that struggles to look after some of their needs as a priority in their life, that puts other people before themselves. That's a person that is holding a good space for what they need and holding a boundary for others to say, hey, I'm important too. This is important too. I will come and partake when I'm ready. And it's very much in line with what we've been discussing since the beginning. Let's celebrate what you're able to do and clearly look at what you are doing. And
I think it's important to note, though, just with that, talking about our friend that is struggling to watch it or listen at the moment, I also recognise how hard it is to be the person that's creating something like this and then asking someone if they've watched it. I think it's important to note that there is absolutely no pressure from Nathan and I to sit down and listen to these episodes. We do these because we want to, and we want to hear feedback. We want to hear how we can improve, what we can do differently, and what's, how we can help you guys in other aspects of your life. So I just wanted to put that in there, that nothing's ever a pressure to be like, you have to listen, you have to follow, you have to do the tapping sessions, you have to go to this page and do this. It's never, no, it's just, if you need this, it's here.
We like to be included in providing something for the buffet that anyone can choose. And it's okay if you don't. So, we're going to revisit some of the key lessons from episode 1 when we were discussing why we were starting over. Now, what's something you remember, Taylor, from episode 1?
Nothing.
I don't recall anything. I've deleted this experience.
I don't know. When we started, I was in a pretty... I just had my breakup. Yeah, I just had my recent breakup, so starting over was that whole terrible, terrifying thing of I'm back at rock bottom again. Where do I start? How do I start? What do I need to do to start? Am I too old to start? Am I made the wrong choices? Am I doing the wrong things? That's where I started. What about you, Nathan? I can't even remember where you were. We talk about so many things every day.
Yes, this is right. That reminds me that we did have the conversation in that episode about failure and how we carry this weight of feeling like we have failed in life when we look at our expectations and where we're not. And we struggle to look at what we do have, and we're in a state of grief and pain and feeling like you're failing at life because you're just not there. And it just seems so big in front of you that it's like, I could not possibly see myself getting to where I wish to be.
Yeah, a mountain that you just can't simply climb. It's just too big. Too overwhelming.
Too overwhelming. And that was the main theme, wasn't it? We were talking about these micro movements. And so that's something that thinking back on it now, I have absolutely taken this on board. And I am just allowing certain things at the moment and not shaming myself as though I'm failing. I am trying to search for in myself what micro things I can do each day and look for what micro things I am doing and celebrate them as like, wow, you did actually do this. And it's right. Some days you do look at it and think, oh, that's nothing in comparison. But I am trying to very much be in the day and celebrate what's worth celebrating.
So,
realizing that progress is progress.
Yeah, big or small, really. So it's important to mention your life doesn't expire because of who you used to be. So I think that's a really important quote to try and remember for anyone that is trying to start over and begin again. It's just another step. It's another chapter in your book that you're still writing. And I think it's important to remember that healing's not linear. It will happen. It'll, that one small step will change your whole trajectory.
Let's get it.
I can't talk today. I'm having a moment.
Trajectory.
There we go. Of your whole entire life. So what actually surprised you, Nathan, about putting this episode out?
I
did.
The first time, I had a lot of concerns. I was not sure how it was going to come out, and I truly committed myself to be like, that's okay, you're going to do it, and you're going to make a garbage episode. What really surprised me was I was so proud and thrilled at how good our first episode was. I thought everything flowed. There was a great amount of energy and excitement. It took a lot to do now that I think back even just today, how very easily we're on top of setting up and starting an episode. And I was just super stoked that it turned out so much better than I thought. And just because I truly did allow myself to go, it's okay, I'm here to learn how to do this really well. Well, was there anything for you that you looked at from that first episode that you thought, oh, wow, interesting?
Holy heck, I've said too much.
Oh, yes. Yes. The stress of revealing.
I word vomit quite a lot, which is quite funny now because I like doing this and I'm proud of myself and Nathan for doing this, but also you're putting your whole life out there for people to listen to, and it becomes really difficult when you are trying to build new relationships with people because you want to tell them, but you also don't want them to listen yet because you don't need them to run for the hills before you've even said hello. So it's like, so I think that's probably my biggest, thing I've learnt from the first episode is to not say a hell of a lot, but try and still keep on theme with everything. And I think the audiences that we have, the downloads that we're getting, that surprised me too. That first episode is still reaching people, which is awesome.
Yeah, I love this sort of resonating with people. That there are so many that are in a similar position that will be able to feel some support or camaraderie, even at least just so to know that someone will commiserate with them in this similar situation. So we bounced into episode 2 off the high of episode 1. This episode I actually really enjoyed, the messy middle episode. This chaotic feeling from healing, this not being surgical or clean or precise, this sitting in the uncertainty and developing that skill. It's interesting because the more we sort of look into these things and discuss these things and put them in a podcast, the more I see them affect the way we think and do things every day. Things are not the same as they were before we started episode 1. We're quite different now, even the way we live in our life. And I think this has a lot to do with it. Making our mind up and looking at the truth of things and understanding them more helps give ourselves a lot of power and to be able to make decisions. We can clearly see what is a decision in front of us and be able to make it consciously. So is there any gold that you remember from that episode, Taylor?
No, I just feel like I'm still in the messy middle now. I'm still trying to figure my life out, so nothing's really... things have changed. I won't say nothing's changed. Things have changed. I've made progress in certain areas of my life from that first episode, or second episode, sorry. But I think I remember vividly from that episode that it was important to know that it was okay to be in the messy middle. It was not an assassination on your character or anything like that. It was okay. It was like, you're here, it is what it is, it's messy, we'll figure it out. If you're willing to step up to the plate, you'll figure it out. What about you, Nathan?
I would say there is a common core experience that perfect is the only acceptable way, and is actually sit there and say, yeah, everything is collapsing around me and I feel like I'm drowning in quicksand and can't hold on and have no control over what's happening. That's a super scary thing to admit, To be like, okay, I am in it, and there is parts that I'm not even aware of that took me here or led me here, or whether it was even just decisions. But in some way I played a part, or I allowed things to happen, and have them just collapse around you and not be perfect. It is very scary when you feel like the only way to be acceptable or loved is to be perfect. That makes me nervous to share, and that felt like the theme of that entire episode. This self-acceptance for the current situation each of us were respectively feeling.
That was a tough one, that one.
I recall a number of specific episodes that were quite tough to go through and face.
Well, episode 3, Boundaries is Love Not Walls. That's a hell of a one, that one.
Oh, yes. Okay.
This is my nomi's. This is my nomi's in the garden.
Oh, okay. So, that has to be, I feel like, so far, my favourite line of all time. That just completely wrapped it up. Are you able to paint that picture again for us? There was a spare of the moment strike of genius.
I don't know. This is us talking about our gardens. In our minds.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think it's something about remembering that even though the bad people that we come across in our lives that don't always work out, not always nice, I think it's important to take something from them and plant it in your garden as a reminder or a vigil per se to what they taught you, and something that you can reflect back on as a reminder of they were this person, this is their flower, and then we can go, this is what I learned from that, I'm going to let it grow in some place of my garden as a reminder and as a lesson that that's where that flower will stay.
How very difficult.
Along those lines, yeah.
That is so difficult to do when you're feeling pain or grief. To actually prioritize gratitude from the person who is the source of that grief and pain. What a beautiful thought. What a beautiful way to act towards people and yourself, in still finding something amazing and carrying it away with you. Even if this is where the point is, the whole saying no thing is still saying yes to something. This saying yes to this opposite, I guess, is usually what the case is. If you're saying
no, yes for yourself.
Saying yes for yourself. It is a great act of love towards yourself. To say yes to the things that you need. To hold your boundaries for the things that harm and hurt you. What boundary changed your life the most this year, Taylor?
The boundaries thing is something that I'm still implementing in my life, but it's definitely changed quite a lot. It's helped in a lot of relationships, actually, that I didn't think it was or was working. I'm super lucky that the people that I've surrounded myself with at the moment are quite respectful of my wishes and my learning and my understanding of setting boundaries. So it does help to have someone support you when you're trying to set a boundary with someone, whether that boundary feels wrong to you or right to you or whatnot. So I've been lucky to have support to do that, but I've also learned that from just a couple of days ago was prefacing like conversations.
Yeah.
What am I saying? Prefacing. Oh my god!
That's
so I can't talk to
similar to preface. Yeah. So you just
pre-framing. Sorry. Pre-framing conversations and things so that you can set yourself up for a more delightful approach rather than it just come straight at you in that sort of sense, I guess.
And that reminds me of where I can't recall how this came out, but that the idea basically, the boundaries are telling people, they're communicating to people, this is where I can love you without losing me. This is where that line is. What a great question to ask yourself if you're not sure where your boundaries are. If someone goes past this, do I start losing me? That's a good question to go, then that needs to be investigated as to exactly where that line is, because I cannot love somebody and lose myself at the same time, because that would require not loving yourself. And how important. But we can get stuck in patterns that have imprinted into our nervous systems, which is also why we slid into episode 4, where I feel like I talked a lot in this episode. I did not give Taylor much of a chance to chat away. I feel like I kind of took over this one and did my own verbal dump of, I think I am passionate about the nervous system and why we get stuck. So in our episode 4, what's something, apart from me talking so much, that you remember from episode 4, Taylor?
Oh, glad you put me on the spot there. I don't, actually. We talk about the nervous system all the time. There is that freeze, fright thing that we talked about, how people get stuck in freeze, and survival mode is the probably biggest one that resonates with me, because it's unbelievable how long someone can live in survival mode and think that that's normal. So that's a massive one, and a really good episode to listen to for people that are stuck in that mode of life, and how you can sort of start to regulate and slowly step out of the bounds of survival and into like a normal, more peaceful way of living, which will take a long time, but we'll be able to do it. So that's one thing that resonates me with that episode, which I thought was crazy and really interesting. And in saying that, what's one regulation tool that you now use almost every day without thinking, Nathan? That you've got from what we've been talking about?
I realise at a point I was in desperate need of other people's nervous systems to pay attention to them a little bit too. So to not be so hyper-focused and getting caught up in my own nervous system storm, to spend time with other people was a really huge support for my nervous system. Even if it is chatting away to someone on the phone while I do something that causes usually quite a good deal of stress. Not just putting it off and procrastinating, but doing the actual thing while talking to your friend is so helpful. And using that information that you get as feedback, rather than judging it or feeling like you're failing, to kind of go, oh, maybe there's something that I actually need in my life. My nervous system's not an enemy, it's trying to talk to me. It's a messenger sending me signals that I need to pay attention to, and going, oh, I realized how much better it is for me to have people in my bubble, despite the risk, especially when I feel like my nervous system is on the fritz. To still have people around and go, this support and type of connection or friendship or conversation or company helps me just settle again and be like, no, I am actually okay. And I can see the bigger picture again. Is there something like that for you, Taylor?
I guess so. I guess it's more just me showing up for myself, and consistently building a routine around this sort of trying to relax the nervous system and trying to not get stuck, and to sort of give myself grace to get stuck some days when I feel like I just don't want to do anything. So learning to regulate and learn what your body is trying to tell you, which has sort of happened recently with medical things that are happening in my life. But yeah, I suppose just showing up, breathing, relaxing, and trying to formulate all the things that we've talked about already into one thing, which is, it's okay to make mistakes, it's okay to be lazy some days, it's okay to do this, you don't got to do it right now, it's not something that needs to be done straight away. And it's trying to get out of that mindset of being stuck. But yeah, that's just what I think about episode 4. And then episode 5 and 7. 5 and 7? Was it? 6 and 7.
6 and 7, that's right, yeah.
Oh, that was 5 to 7, was it? I don't know, this is a bit jumbled up, our little thing here. But, the attachment styles was a big one, wasn't it, Nathan?
So, attachment styles. So, yeah, right. So, episode 5, and then we might have done 6 something in between, and a 7. So, I guess 5. There was 2 in a row about attachment styles, part 1 and 2. And these were big ones because they were climbing into some really personal current pain. Yeah.
But it's always good to... I think it's great to talk about it though, because attachment styles seems to be a big thing that's happening today from society today, I should say. People learning about what an avoidant is, people learning about what anxious is, fearful, and all that sort of umbrella of things. And how it doesn't shape your entire destiny, whatever attachment style you are, but it can definitely help guide you and help you understand why you might be reacting certain ways to certain different people, why you might be drawn to certain people, how to not get attached to those people again, and how to navigate them in everyday life so that you can make better choices for yourself. And I think Nathan and I have learned from doing those episodes and stuff that we will mirror whoever we come across. Yeah, we will definitely mirror them, and we will show them the ugly parts that they don't want to see, to be able to get the safety that we need from a relationship, and to see that those other people that we're with are willing to learn and grow and change and be better. So what's an insight about your own attachment style that you really surprised you, Nathan?
This is probably where the gratitude thing comes in again, is realizing that we are always going to fall in love with the wounds that we haven't healed. We're always going to find somebody that is basically going to lean on our biggest triggers as an offer for us to heal them. So it's a map for us. Attachments are a map for us. We're going to be drawn to very specific people. They're going to bring out very specific things that we are not currently aware of, or maybe perhaps they're just not a priority. And we are going to have to face them and deal with them and heal from them and grow beyond them. if you're concerned about your attachment style or who you're even drawn to, look, this is the purpose. I am in no way saying to stay in a dangerous relationship. That is not okay. No one needs to go through that. But being around people who cross your boundaries is truly going to teach you that you have a part to play in not allowing that to happen. And once you start practicing these things, the right people will change, the wrong people will bounce out of your life. So it is so worth it to actually take the gift of every relationship that you're in and make the adjustments for yourself so it doesn't keep hurting or harming or causing grief or preventing you from growth or keeping you stuck. It is an offering, and it's okay. It's what it's meant for. I think that was a huge realization for me, to show gratitude for the people that have caused pain in my life. Do you feel like recording those episodes changed the way you connect with people in your life?
I think it's added to my already extensive knowledge base on attachment styles, in a way that it has actually changed how I connect with people. In the fact that I can pick up on just asking simple questions, I can pick up whether someone's healthy or not healthy for me now. Am I still going to make mistakes? 100%. But it's also changed in the way that I don't mask who I am anymore. I'm quite open and honest. I won't put filters on my videos. I won't hide anything from people anymore. I'm just me. And I feel like by just being me, it's bringing out people in my life that I can go, no, you're not good for me. Goodbye. Or I can be like, oh, maybe this person has something that I not quite understand yet or know yet, and I want to talk to them more and I want to find out more. But it's definitely changed the way in which I think about attachment styles and how I'm starting to identify certain things in my life that need to be addressed through talking about them with everybody.
Okay. So that moves us on to our episode 7, the failure as data episode. This one felt dry for me. There was a couple of quotes that I distinctly remember about, like, from Brene Brown, maybe it's from NASA, but about failing forward, and it just seemed dry. It's not something I guess I'm especially interested in. Maybe there's a bit of resistance in me to actually have the value for failure. But I remember the purpose of it, to go, yeah, failure is information. It is basically, hey, this is where you need to pay attention to these points that you're measuring to say that's something that has been a failure. Pay attention to these points, make adjustments here, test, try, succeed. It's almost the... it feels like almost wasted effort in my brain. And maybe I'm just not quite at the point where it's like, okay, I need to fail as much as possible, as quickly as possible, and bounce back as well as I can so that I get to success sooner. Maybe I stay in failure for too long, and that's why I'm a bit over it. Is there anything you found from that episode?
I didn't want to do that episode. I hated it because I feel like I failed the most of my life. But apparently that's a burden that I place upon myself. No one actually thinks that, but I don't know. I hated this episode. I really didn't like it because it really made me be like, shit, there's so many things I need to do and I'm not doing them. But It's rewiring your brain to be like, failure is a good thing because it's another lesson that can be learned and another thing that we can grow from and add it into the back of all the pansies that are in our brain.
So is there a failure you can identify in the past few months that you can see as data now?
Well, the boundaries thing, I guess. I failed to implement boundaries most of my life, and I'm starting to implement them now, and it's working. So I can see and differentiate where I failed and what I need to do differently and how to change that. What about you?
Probably there's a bit of yo-yoing, and I've realised failure happens a lot more when I'm not following systems. If I've got my systems all under control and I don't have to think about it, my life just goes very well. When I'm not paying attention to the systems that are necessary in my life, then a lot of noise overwhelms me and I get stuck. And it's almost like there's a bunch of resistance to get back onto my systems, because that's the solution. So I've realized there's been a resistance all of my life to systems, to like a procedure or following a specific course, or even just feeling like you're being told what to do. You just sort of fight against it. It's an immature part of myself. But it also is meaning I'm not doing what's necessary to actually be in the game. This is a bit of what Brené Brown talks about, is like you can't really listen to people that aren't actually even in the arena. If they're not playing, it's really of no use to consider their advice. And that's my favorite thing from this episode. That failure isn't proof you're broken. It's the proof that you're actually trying. So trying to adjust that in my mind is like, oh, I'm failing at these things. It's like, oh, good. Okay, I am having a go. That I'm trying to still work on. Yeah.
Which then leads us into episode 8, which was rebuilding self-trust.
Rebuilding self-trust.
This one was tough. This one was tough for me too. Because I
tough, yeah.
do not trust myself whatsoever. I don't trust the decisions I make. I trust the promises I make to other people, but I don't trust what I'm going to do. Don't trust in myself to make the right choices. I'm not very compassionate with myself when it comes to that sort of stuff. How did you feel about this episode?
This is probably one of the most important ones for me, because I don't think I realised it. I'm not entirely sure when I started realising that the not being able to trust myself actually was happening in my life, and why. This is where I found just the practical methods for building trust in yourself is such a simple thing, which is why it's so easily overlooked, to be aware of how much trust you can destroy by certain habits. That you just have these tiny promises and you just always follow through. And adjusting those promises is probably my biggest realization, because I've realized that I think a bunch of my promises were too big and I was trying to skip steps and I would just collapse. So I realized I have to aim for something a little step down, because collapse is a bit of feedback. And it's like, oh, it's okay to not be stuck here. I've realized I've collapsed from the pressure. That means I put too much pressure on myself. So I aim for things like not doing something every day, but trying to get the consistency of doing it more times in a week than not. And starting off with a smaller quantity even. 5 minutes instead of half an hour. 4 days a week instead of 3. And spreading them out if I need to. And really allowing this grace period. Interestingly, that part of it has helped build trust too. Because it's like, no, you are somebody who will look after yourself and do what's necessary to ensure you're setting yourself up for success. Not to be perfect, to actually reach your goal, to get the finish line. What's a promise you kept that has made a big impact, Taylor, that you could recall? Is there something?
I don't know if there is. I don't know what promises I've made to myself. There's been subconscious ones of making sure I get up every day and do something. But I can't think of a massive one that has made a huge impact.
I've actually heard it, even though you might not be consciously aware that you've made this promise to yourself. I've actually heard you say it. It's about the choice to subject yourself to types of relationships. That has absolutely changed for you. That's something you're just like, I don't need to subject. It's almost how you said it. I don't need to ever subject myself to that dynamic ever again.
Yeah.
That's a big one to have your back with. Not to be perfect, to get the perfect relationship, but just having those tiny moments where you're like, no, this is me noticing what is not good for me, and I'm going to put in place a safeguard consciously.
Oh my God, someone's listening.
Yeah. Yeah. What a good moment. So I do see these having an effect on us. I do see all of the effort we've put in to creating a content that will help people actually circling back to us and helping us too. Just injecting these thoughts into our minds has had an impact, and I'm not too sure we're going to be fully aware of it until we reach a point and can look back. This is why I find it so very important to look back. This is why I'm so pleased we decided to celebrate on our 10th episode.
I suppose then that leads us into episode 9, Daily Habits Without Burnout. How did you go with this one, Nathan?
So this one I am still experiencing, I guess. I would say I'm doing well on not burning myself out, actually, and allowing a fair amount of compassion and grace. I am trying to adjust my discipline, and by discipline I mean just maintaining a system in my life, things that I need to take care of, my health, or sleeping, or cleaning, all those adult things that we talk about when we say, I'm sick of adulting and I don't want to do it anymore. I am adjusting my expectations so I am making it more possible to not burn out and actually still move forward, even if my pace slows down. So, interestingly, I would say if I was to sit here and compare myself, my daily habits have gone way down compared to where I was even 3 or 4 months ago. I'm not doing so great in comparison. Am I still moving forward? Yes. Am I burning out? No. That is success.
It's a good way to look at it. And I'm pretty much the same as you, just doing small things, I guess. Not sticking around in places for too long, making quicker decisions to not put myself in certain situations. That's quite grounding, I think. Just same thing as you, really, just doing small things every day to sort of curb that expectation of quitting, you know.
What it sounds like is presence and noticing. It's almost the habit of being present and noticing where you're at, rather than sitting there from a management point of view going, look at all the things that we need to do. Is going, no, what do I feel like right now? Looking around and going, what will make me feel a little better right now? That's actually quite amazing, that presence and notice is a huge, I guess, soothing habit that is going to prevent burnout and prevent shame and judgment, because you're still moving forward. Which is why I love that line in that episode with consistency. It's that consistency without compassion is just control. And no one wants to be controlled. And often we are quite terrible to ourselves and with our inner talk, our inner voice. And I am seeing that slowly change. The expectation for perfection is slowly changing. So, today's episode 10. This is who we're becoming as a result of all of these things, as a result of what we're trying and testing. What have you learned about yourself from our podcast?
I've learned that I'm stronger than what I think I am. And I'm more capable of greater things.
That's wonderful.
What about you?
Okay. I think I'm learning a bit more self-value, that I do have things to share that will help and benefit people. And I'm not entirely... I don't think I've been convinced throughout my life that I had much to offer. And the more we do this, the more I feel like this would be so beneficial. Or I guess I'm looking at it from the perspective of, if only I had have been able to talk to myself 10 years ago. I guess I'm learning that there's some self-value adjustment in saying I have something that is of value to people. And what a wonderful way to give back to everyone or the world, or give to somebody that might have been in my position.
What have we learned about each other? I know I've learned that Nathan is a pain in the ass.
You know what's really interesting? What I've learned about you, despite the fact that you protest, you thrive in honesty. I don't know how else to describe it. It is rare that someone can take honesty, but you actually do thrive. And it must be jarring which is what I imagine when you say I'm a pain, is that I'm quite openly honest about things. But yeah, I would say we're quite similar with this. That honesty is very highly valued, and you have a trust of honesty and that openness. Yeah.
I am always learning things from Nathan. He teaches me something every day. But this podcast has taught, he in this podcast has taught me that speaking up is okay. Speaking up is good. Being authentically yourself is good, and he is always authentically himself. He doesn't change for anybody. And he is very wise, and if you listen to him, you will learn many, many things, and you'll be able to grow and change, and he's a really good guider and leader of that. And I guess I've learnt from him to be more grateful and more present, and it's been a really good journey, even though I protest, as he says, I protest to do this at times. It's been good to do this with him. Yeah, I have a lot of trust in him, so it's quite easy to sort of come on here and just start blabbering about our lives and our things. So it's been really good, and I think I've learned. I'm always learning from Nathan, so there's not just one thing I've learned many things.
Well, thank you for that.
That's alright. What about our listeners?
Well, what I have learned a little bit. Some of our listeners have resistance, and it's quite confronting because we are being very open and honest. And it's okay to me that they disagree. It's okay to me that they sometimes can't listen, or that things are too much, because even we doing these episodes find it sometimes too much. What's really interesting is sometimes there's different things for different people, and sometimes people have reached out to us and said how much they need this and how much it helps them and what they're currently experiencing, and I just think that's super encouraging.
It's the goal, isn't it?
Yeah.
The goal to get more people to reach out and ask for help, because that's why we're doing this. So to the few that have, we thank you for that. Yeah. Because it means a lot, because that's why we're here every week trying to push out an episode and do this. So yeah. And I suppose the last thing with this is recording weekly does help, I believe, our nervous systems. Because we're trying to achieve a goal, and I think by pushing this out every week as we do, it's sort of relaxing and accomplishing, and hopefully, as we've already said, we're helping people, which is what we want to do.
Yeah. I feel like we're accomplishing big things in doing this. And it feels very successful every time we do. Every time we finish recording, it's a relief. And I feel good that we are getting something very valuable out to people. And every time we look at it, it just keeps reminding me what I need to do and how I can view things differently in my life and how I can treat myself. It's an amazing reminder for me.
I think it's important to say this quote, because I really, really like it. We came into this podcast healing, and every episode became a part of our healing. And it's so true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. It is most definitely helping me. And I think this is the main reason why we've been able to keep going, despite the times where we truly struggle with certain topics or episodes, is because thinking of the people that it will help, but being reminded of how wonderful it is to consider ourselves from this point of view, treat ourselves in this way. So, as always, we're coming to a close for our episode, and we're going to do a tapping practice. And this is sort of about the entire theme. There's showing up, there's being consistent, there's being human and being enough, acknowledging effort and growth and celebrating ourselves. This is the tapping we've got for today. So I'll get Taylor to come along if you want to follow along.
Mm-hmm.
Have a look on my socials on the Unarmored Man for the spots to tap with and tap along. Once you learn those spots, there's a short video that will show you on the Unarmored Man. Once you learn those spots, that you could just tap along with us then and just repeat, and Taylor will repeat along with you as she copies what I say. So we start on that karate chop point and we lightly tap and we say, even though I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
Even though I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
Even though I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm still learning, healing and figuring it out,
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
I'm proud of myself for showing up.
On top of the head, this journey has not been easy.
This journey has not been easy.
Not eyebrow, but I have been consistent.
I have been consistent.
On the side of the eye, I have been honest.
I have been honest.
Under the eye, I have been human.
I have been human.
Under the nose, and that is enough.
And that is enough.
On the chin, I acknowledge my effort.
I acknowledge my effort.
The softest of the collarbone, I honour my growth.
I honour my growth.
Yawns are good, my people. Under the arm, I'm allowed to celebrate myself.
I'm allowed to celebrate myself.
The two wrists together, I appreciate this version of me that keeps going.
I appreciate this version of me that keeps going.
On top of the head, I appreciate the version of me that tried.
I appreciate the version of me that tried.
Not eyebrow, I appreciate the part of me that wants to heal.
I appreciate the part of me that wants to heal.
The side of the eye, I welcome the next chapter with softness.
I welcome the next chapter with softness.
Under the eye, I'm proud of myself and I'm just getting started.
I'm proud of myself and I'm just getting started.
Under the nose, I'm allowed to celebrate myself.
I'm allowed to celebrate myself.
On the chin, I am celebrating today.
I am celebrating today.
On the collarbone, I am allowed to enjoy victories.
I'm allowed to enjoy victory.
Under the arm, I'm allowed to make mistakes.
I'm allowed to make mistakes.
The two wrists together, I celebrate today.
I celebrate today.
And a deep breath. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. If you need to go through that again, just rewind a little bit and just tap over it again. You'll notice yourself relaxing. You'll be able to feel more in your body. You'll feel yourself yawning and growing tired sometimes. And it will just help your nervous system settle down and rest. So, 10 episodes, Taylor. 10 conversations.
Mm-hmm.
These 10 chances to become more of who we are. You've been with me since the beginning. We've created something incredible. And I would like to say thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Nathan. We're doing this together. It's a team effort.
I'm so pleased.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good. It's this podcast is not about perfection. It's about pencil lines, unpolished, honest human. It's about rewriting ourselves gently and giving each other space to grow.
Until next time, our listeners, the beauty of life is that you can always erase, redraw, and keep creating. Until next time, keep on drawing.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Playful and quirky. Brass punches. Sharp and perky. Baseline dances. Feeling sassy.